Well, hey everybody, my name is Park Hopper John.
And I'm Park Hopper Sid.
And together we are WDW Park Hoppers. Welcome to the show. So glad that you're here. We want to make sure that, wait, I can't.
All right, taking off.
So we want to welcome you to the lovely and beautiful Disney's Beach Club here in the DVC Villas. So glad that you're here joining us, and we're just going to do a little bit.
We've even added to our coffee collection, coffee cup collection.
We've added to our mug collection. We have a problem.
We have a serious problem.
My name is John, and I'm addicted to coffee mugs.
My name is Sid, and I enable him beyond all recognition.
We want to make sure you come find us over at wdwparkhoppers.com, as well as Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all at WDW Park Hoppers. Come find us all across the internet. And thanks for being here tonight. So we're going to be talking, what are we going to talk about?
So we actually had the opportunity to spend a couple of days this weekend over at Disney. So here at the Beach Club, staying with some friends that had DVC points and wanted to use them up and just wanted to get away for a few days. And so we're just going to kind of talk you through that first person experience of if you're planning on coming to Disney, if you want to, you want to know what it's like actually staying in the resorts, interacting with the hotel staff, having to wear these everywhere you go.
Right.
And how people are doing. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
What it's like to vacation at Disney when we're still in a pandemic.
Right. Plus, we're going to touch on the movie of the week
Absolutely.
for last week, and then what is the movie of the week this week? Do we know yet?
So, movie of the week this week we are actually postponing because it is a holiday, and I think this smeared my lipstick. And so, for the people who are listening, we're actually filming this also, so you see all kinds of fun stuff on the visual side. But movie of the week, we're postponing it this week, and then we are starting our 2 months of Halloween. So
nice.
It's going to be a combination of Halloween Town High and just if you can name Hocus Pocus,
Nightmare Before Christmas.
So Nightmare Before Christmas, we are actually holding off until the Monday after Halloween.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Because the movie takes place after Halloween as people are getting ready for Christmas.
Makes sense.
And then we'll be in November. It'll be perfect.
That's awesome. That's cool. So let's talk about how we got here.
By car.
By car, yes. And so we got here Sunday afternoon, and we're recording this on Labor Day. So we got here, and there was, we've been to the Beach Club before, visiting or going to Cape May or one of the places.
Cape May, which is still not open.
Correct.
As of right now. So with the buffets being closed, that is one of the places that we were a little heartbroken over because our friend has never been to Cape May that is hosting all of us. And so we're like, we can, darn it.
But what's been really, really interesting is I'm used to a lot of hustle and bustle happening in the lobby area. And there's not a lot of hustling or bustling going on. There's a lot of cast members, showing people where to go and what to do. But there's not a lot of people hanging out. But everybody's got masks on. I haven't seen anybody that's been anti-mask. Haven't had any problem. I haven't seen really any.
I've seen the people that are anti-mask. They're wearing them when they have to. So as far as the cast members have been great.
Yep.
Cast members recently got the new masks that there was a name for the mask, but it kind of looks like a night sky, and it's really pretty. It's like pixie dust, I think is what somebody called it.
Yeah.
They've all said they're very comfortable, they're easier to breathe in.
Right.
They actually have adjustable ear loops, so that is great. And if you get here and you realize you forgot your mask, or maybe you want a different mask, Disney does still have the Disney masks for sale. Mm-hmm. Now, I will tell you, I do not have a large head.
No.
This is a large. So I am wearing a large Disney mask. If you are anywhere above the size of a 5'2" woman, you probably want to see if they have the extra large. And they only had the extra large in a few styles.
Right.
So I'd heard from a lot of people that when they say they're running small, they run small. And I will tell you, I don't know if if you're listening, I will say this label that's inside the masks, just cut them out.
Yeah.
I left it on here for the visual part. You're literally sucking it into your mouth with every breath. So this will be being ripped out as soon as we hit stop.
So we got here yesterday, and the check-in process was pretty seamless. We had had a question, so we popped into the front desk, and they were fine with that. I know a lot of the news articles that we've talked about here or on the Disney Park show talk about how what they really want you to do is to not congregate in the lobby.
Right.
Wait till you get that text. But we had a specific issue we had to address, and
we needed magic bands.
so we went up, and they had their cast members were in the behind the plexiglass, so they were safe and we were safe. They took great care of us. They weren't upset at all. So we did what we had to do, and our rooms were ready. And
Georgette was lovely.
Yep.
She was absolutely just a dear to work with. We did realize, and I did most of the check-in process as everyone else parked cars, that you find yourself when you have a mask and they have a mask and there's plexiglass between you, you find yourself feeling like you're yelling.
Yeah.
Because you can't see the mouth, you can't see the words. And she said a couple of things to us that, after the rest of the party joined, where I'd look at John and say, what did she say? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, good. We're on the same page. Also, there are a lot of hand sanitizer stations all around the hotel.
Right. A lot of signage.
I'm talking about the station.
Yeah, and I'm talking about the signage.
Yes, there's that also. So lots of signage, tape on the floor telling you, stay 6 feet back. We also had the unplanned change of the marketplace. So the marketplace is actually under construction right now. So they've taken another little room and created that as the marketplace.
They put it in the solarium, if you know
Right.
what the solarium is. So they've moved a lot of the merchandise there. They've got one way in, one way out. So they're refurbishing the marketplace, which will be great once they get that open. It'll be a much more convenient place. So what was the
all the Halloween merch is there. That's the important thing.
That's right. And speaking of, nice ears.
Thank you. They're corduroy.
Nice. So if you wanted to see a little bit about what the room looked like, we did a video that's available at youtube.com/WDW Park Hoppers. You can go check that out. You can actually see how the room looked pristine. Nobody was in the room. We just walked in first thing, shot a quick video, and you can see what it looked like. But what was your impression of the room when we actually got in there? Level of cleanliness, how they had made sure that everything that you would think would be hyper protected as far as remote controls and stuff. How was that for you?
I actually thought it was pretty good. So I work in meetings and events, and people know that. And my company actually has guidelines called Meet Safe. And these are the key points that we tell our clients all the things we're going to sanitize, that we're going to change out, that that it's one person touches a microphone, kind of things like that. And so I was looking for those items. We have seen people going around wiping everything off, wiping off all of the doors, wiping off the handrails, everything like that. The remote controls were wrapped up in little plastic baggies. The one in our room is still in its baggie. The one in the main room, our friend decided to be a rebel, and she's like, I'm taking it out. But everything felt very clean.
Oh,
everything had a nice smell to it. It didn't smell antiseptic, but it smelled clean.
Right.
I think the only challenge we had is in their goal. Well, I was going to say their goal of making sure that everything is clean and that there's not something you can use that they can't tell. So all of the blankets and pillows, the extra ones, so one person is on a hide-a-bed, they're in a bag that is zip tied shut, and you had to snip it and open it.
Right.
We travel with scissors, so that wasn't so bad. We had no bed sheets for that bed.
Right.
So we did have to call for bed sheets. So cast member came actually very quickly, brought us bed sheets in a bag. They were wearing rubber gloves. They're wearing masks. They're doing everything that they can do. So
Right. Yeah, so the room was great. Had a great time. Bed was amazing, all that stuff. The big question that you're probably wondering is Stormalong Bay. Yes, it was open. However, they are restricting. Yep, they are restricting the amount of people that can be in it. So the best advice we can give is to get up early, be there 15 to 20 minutes prior to the opening of the pool, get in line, get a wristband, and then they're lining people up one side from
Yacht Club,
one side from Beach Club, and
the Yacht Club side was like 3 times as long as the Beach Club side. And they actually, when we left, so we got to the pool at 9:45, and we were already like 15, 20 people back on our side in line, and there was much longer on the other side. But we got in, and when we left, they were about 90% capacity. And it didn't feel crowded. They have put separations between every 3 or 4 chairs. So if this is your family group of chairs, these are your chairs. Don't reach over and touch the next set of chairs. They do ask that when you leave for the day, or at least leave, like if you're going to go grab lunch and then come back, if you don't want to keep your stuff there, you fold your chair forward, and they take that as a sign to come and they sanitize. And they were actually very quick about that also.
Did a great
Again,
job.
all the cast members, all the lifeguards, all the entertainment team, they're all wearing their masks. They're all, hand sanitizer stations out there, which actually made me giggle a little bit because we're in a vat of chlorine. There were a handful of people. So once you get into the pool area, when you're in the water, you don't have to wear your mask. But if you're going to be walking around, if you're going to go order food, if you're going to do something like that, they want you to wear your mask. Once people found their chairs, they pretty much took their masks off and they were done. And there were some people that were struggling with the social distancing, especially in the lazy river. So Stormline Bay, if you've never been there, pretty giant pool, odd shaped, so you go through different areas, lots of little bridges over it, and a couple little waterfalls, and then there's a completely zero entry, 2-foot deep kiddie area, and there's a lazy river, and there's a couple other little sections, and there's a few hot tubs. And so all of these areas, nothing really felt crowded. Everyone was being pretty nice. There were some challenges on the lazy river because you start to bunch up, and so like I put my feet out to try to keep from running into the person in front of me, and all of a sudden I've got a voice literally in my ear of this whole family that had just come on top of me, and I tried to get out of their way, and I said something about, no, I'm just, they asked if I didn't like their conversation. I'm like, no, I'm just trying to, be polite, social distance, and they had a few comments about how they felt about social distancing and masks, and so that was probably the only odd moment, and I can handle anybody, so I really didn't care.
Right. For the most part, everything's been great. Hey guys.
Cast members are beyond friendly.
So the pool's there. It's ready to go. The one funny situation that you guys were telling me about was the not Ale and Compass, but Martha's Vineyard.
Martha's Vineyard. So we went up to go get a glass of wine. One of the other girls and I, while Park Hopper John took a study break.
Yes.
Yeah, he took a nap.
I was staring at the back of my eyelids.
And we went to go to Martha's Vineyard, and there's this table in the corner. Like if you've ever been in there, you walk up either the ramp or a few stairs, and there's this table, if you're looking at the bar, all the way to the left in that far corner, and they're not letting people sit there. We're like, but why? I mean, it seemed perfectly far enough away, and especially if you sat on the 2 far seats that were against the wall. They're like, no, Disney has deemed that it's not far enough away from the 3 seats they had at the bar. And so we even went back later and kind of measured, did the, tip to tip finger thing, and it should have been fine. But okay, if Disney's trying to keep us safe. But then when we went to Ale and Compass, there were some high boys that seemed as close, maybe a little closer, that they were allowing everyone to sit at all of them. So, it could have been things got scooted around.
Yeah.
They ask you do not do that. Don't move tables, don't move your chairs out at the pool.
Right.
There's a reason everything is the way it is.
Right. And, outside of little things like that, which you have to expect coming into a situation where people are trying to do the best with established systems and try to make it fit in the time of Corona. But for the most part, the resort is great. It's good to go. Everybody is accommodating. You can still walk over to Epcot, walk over to Hollywood Studios. It's great to see people here.
Beaches and Cream is still open, so that's the important thing.
It's great to see people here. It's great to see the cast members back to work, or as many cast members as they have. So overall, this weekend for us has been great. It's great to be back at Disney. It's great to be in the room and have that Disney smell. For anybody who stayed in a resort, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's been a phenomenal 2 days for us.
So, and really, in short, they're asking you social distance.
Right.
There's the wristbands, keyless entry, masks, sanitizer. Some of the staff members are wearing face shields. They're wiping everything down. It is as safe as Disney can possibly be making it.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
you know, and if you forgot your mask or don't have your mask or something, and you don't want to spend $6 on a Disney mask, they had, I think they were $1.50, some of the paper style masks.
Right.
So they have options for you, and they're all being very, very nice.
Right. They got you covered no matter what. So,
Yeah, and they are still doing like bell services where they'll take all your bags and hold them until your room is ready, and they'll even put bags in a cooler. So, which I didn't know about the cooler before.
Yeah.
So yeah, and everything's been great, and they are doing room service. So if you know there's something you want room service wise, they have a limited menu, but they do have a menu, and they have paper menus that you can scan the barcode,
Right.
scan the QR code. They have that at the pool, and so
Right.
they're trying to make this as much of a wonderful Disney experience as possible.
Right.
And so far, I think they've absolutely succeeded.
Absolutely. I agree. Do we need to really dig too much into Little Mermaid? I mean, it's Little Mermaid.
It was Little Mermaid. So Little Mermaid was the Disney Plus movie of the week for movie night last week. And, you know, again, my movie group is very different. I'm the oldest. There's people that were born a few years after Little Mermaid came out. So, but it's Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Although I will say, as you get older, and ladies, if you're listening to this and you have kids, especially if you're teenagers, you go back and you watch things like The Little Mermaid. Who is this 15, 16, 14, however old she's supposed to be? Somebody's going to correct me. I'm just going to storm off and go to the Sea Witch, and I'm just going to do what I want. And I'm going to go wash up on a beach wearing nothing but my fins, and have nothing but a fish and a crab to help me make some random stranger I've only seen from afar fall in love with me so I can marry him. Come on.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a bit of a stretch, but still
But the
great.
music is as wonderful as
That's right.
always.
Still a great movie. And the last thing I really wanted to touch on before we let it go is
Here's my
Little
mermaid.
The one last thing I wanted to touch on is we had a chance to go to La Luce over at
Hilton Bonnett Creek.
Hilton Bonnett Creek, and we had a great time. Dinner was good. It wasn't the best dinner, but you know, on a scale of 0 to Ravello,
Well,
it was
okay.
a 6.
So, what you didn't mention at the beginning of this was we went to La Luce for Magical Dining.
That's right. So we went.
So if you're not familiar, definitely Google Magical Dining 2020, and it will take you to the Visit Orlando page, and you'll see all the restaurants. And it's the 3-course meal, appetizer, entree, dessert, $35 per person. You have anywhere from 2 to 4 options depending on the restaurants, and a lot of them have add-ons. One of the add-ons here was you could have added on a steak for $20.
Yeah.
But we went with the menu as it was. I thought the food was actually better than most of my table thought it was.
Yeah.
You know,
The main course for me was the best.
Oh yeah, we had meatballs.
We had a certain type of pasta and meatballs, and that was stupendous. Now it's been a while since I've had pasta and meatballs because we've been on our eating plan, but
We've been trying to go low carb, so
Yeah,
I left
great.
a lot of the pasta, but we did. You know, we got the desserts and we each tried a bite of everything. And
Yeah.
you loved the toffee pudding.
the toffee pudding actually, oddly enough, was better than the tiramisu, and it was
loved
better
the
than the lemon
tiramisu.
cake. I liked it too, but I thought that the toffee was actually better, which is weird. Toffee pudding, no less. So no, it was
Toffee pudding?
It was butterscotch pudding with toffee.
Well, I think they called it toffee pudding, but yeah.
So it was good. I mean, I'm not going to complain, but you know, La Luce is great. They were doing a lot of things for social distancing. They were doing things that they weren't normally used to doing. So we're covering the plates.
Yeah, all the food had to come to the table with the metal plate
Yeah.
covers on them.
Which was a challenge for some of those folks because they're not used to doing it. So it was
They needed extra hands that they didn't have.
There was a couple times it was awkward. Like the guy was standing there with a stack of plates, and I was sitting there, and he was looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, oh. So I just moved all the silverware over, and he put all the plates down. I'm like,
And we had to do that
okay.
on our side. We had a 6-top, and we only had 5 people, so they figured out pretty quickly, bring them all here
Yeah.
and put them there, and then pass things out. So
Yeah. Overall, it was good, but it wasn't.
it was
the best.
freezing. I will say that the
Yeah,
restaurant was
very
cold.
cold.
Bring a sweater.
Yeah, and it was funny when we got there. We opened the restaurant. Our reservation was the first resi, and when we got there, we got in. And I was like, man, it's kind of dim in here. It's kind of dark. And then right towards the end of dinner, they raised the
blinds.
The blinds. I'm like, oh.
Now we can see we were eating.
Right, just in time to pay the bill.
Exactly.
So I think,
but the staff was wonderful. They were very nice. There were a few people that, they were asking for you to have masks. You were supposed to have a mask to be able to get into the restaurant. Mm-hmm. And there was one woman that was pretty adamant she was not going to wear her mask, and they still seated her. There was a whole family that came in that, like, the kids are wearing masks, but Dad refused. And, he's holding up his red Solo cup as his excuse.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, that cup doesn't even look like it's had anything in it. So
yeah, well, so there's that. But if you'd like to go check out a different resort on Disney property, Hilton Bonnett Creek is a great resort. And if you go, they validate your parking, so you don't have to worry about paying a parking fee just to go to dinner. So check that out. Magical Dining is running now through the end of September. I think it goes into October 3rd.
First weekend of October.
Yeah, so you've got some time if you're coming down. It's worth a trip to come down and check out some of the most amazing restaurants for basically $35 a person. You get a great 3-course meal, and there's a ton of add-ons like Sid said. So come check that out. Anything else?
Yeah, we did one that had a cocktail pairing.
Yes, we did.
That was fun.
Yes, we did. I never got mine, but yeah, it was great.
Yes, but you also didn't pay for it. They didn't.
That is accurate.
They didn't put it on the bill either.
That is accurate.
Wow,
That is
you're just
accurate.
a little negative tonight.
I'm a little surly. What can I say?
Maybe you need more naps or less naps, or
I need a longer vacation.
You know what? Hot tub's open till 11.
I think that sounds like a plan.
That's our cue. Well, before we leave you, we do want to remind you, go check out our friends at the Disney List. They are amazing podcasters, fantastic friends, and extremely knowledgeable about Disney. So please go check out the Disney List. And also, what was the other thing we were going to talk about tonight? I don't know. Disney List, www.parkhoppers.com/Amazon. A couple of pennies to us.
Yep.
Doesn't cost you anything. And yeah.
Yeah, I think
I almost want to say see you in the parks, but it's the wrong podcast.
Yeah, no. The only other thing we would encourage you to do, we do have some friends who are doing a big. If you've ever thought about doing a podcast and you're interested in hearing more about how to do that, you can go to podcastmasterminds.com/podcast challenge. You can go check that out. I think that's right.
Is that every plug we have for tonight?
That's pretty much
Except
it.
for ourselves. You can find us over at www.parkhoppers.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, wherever else you may be looking for Disney news or Disney tidbits.
Yeah, so come check that out. We'll see you guys next week. We're all over YouTube, or we're trying to grow our audience there. We're on Instagram, putting the podcast up there. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, all over. But basically, like she said, come find us at www.parkhoppers.com. 4 parks, 1 world.
And everything in between.
See you next week.